via Skype is the author of the book and award-winning iPad app, The Human Face of Big Data. Now, we've said the phrase 5 or 6 times. What is big data?
Well, you know, this is a question. I'm a journalist, so I started about a year ago trying to understand for myself what big data was. And I spoke to many different sort of experts in this area. One of the most interesting quotes about this world of big data came from Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google, who said that all the information generated by the human race from the dawn of humanity to 2003 was 5 exabytes. I have no idea what an exabyte is. Right now, the human race is generating 5 exabytes every 2 days.
Wow.
So we're seeing a straight vertical line. Basically every object on Earth, including our bodies, is now starting to generate data in a way that we've never seen before. And I think that, you know, many of the stories that we see in the media tend to focus on the downside of it. I'm very concerned about privacy. I'm very concerned about the revelations that Snowden has shared with us about what the NSA has been doing. But I also think this is a brand new tool that might offer tremendous abilities for humanity to sort of take control of some of the biggest problems that are facing us today.
You know, you call the data, the big data, sort of the new oil. How will big data change the world? And you're saying that it'll have even a bigger impact than the internet?
Well, I sort of say that after giving some examples of it because it sounds awfully grandiose. I think that you needed to have computers, you needed to have microprocessors to build computers, and you needed computers to build the internet. And I think that now this world of big data is sort of like another layer on top of it. If you think about it, every single one of us has now become a human sensor. We're almost like watching the planet develop a nervous system. It sounds like science fiction and, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Skynet. But all of us are now, throughout our day, everything we're doing is now starting to feed information back into this sort of large growing brain. It sounds kind of creepy, but there's some really, there's some tremendous benefits to it. I'll give you a few examples.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman named Sweetak Patel. He's a MacArthur Fellow. He's 29 years old, so he's pretty young. He said, imagine if you got your American Express card tomorrow and there's no itemization of your bill. Would you, either one of you, pay your credit card bill if you couldn't see what you'd spent during the course of a month?
No, I mean, if you just give me a total, no.
Right, nobody would do that, right? But every month we get an electrical bill, and we pay it blindly. We have no idea what our toaster oven or our dishwasher or our hair dryer, any appliance in our house is actually costing us. So he has a little gadget. He just sold the company to Belkin. And you're going to be able to plug this little gadget one place in your house, and it recognizes the digital signature of every single appliance in your house. And it shows you on your iPad or on your computer what your hair dryer cost you during the course of the month. And I said, okay, that's kind of cool that now I have this granular insight into how I'm spending my money. But I said, did you learn anything that would surprise people, that would change their behavior? And he thought about it for a second. He said, you know, actually the most surprising thing we learned was that the average American spends 11% of their monthly electrical bill on the DVR and the little box recording, you know, CNN.
I certainly use mine.
But when it's not recording, it's still sitting there spinning. So he said, instead of drilling another oil well or building a nuclear power plant, we could just redesign the damn DVR. And that would have a huge impact. I'll give you another example. And, you know, I tend to be a glass half empty kind of guy, so a lot of the things that kind of surprised me were like, wow, this is amazing. When the earthquake hit in Japan a few years ago, terrible devastation, there was a remarkable story that Steve Henn at Marketplace did about how every bullet train in every factory in Japan, 15 seconds before the earthquake hit, was brought to a halt. The Japanese had spent $500 million over 15 years putting these dedicated, hardwired, expensive sensors into place to sense the wave before the earthquake hit. So it worked. It all worked great. But the big data story about this is that a group of entrepreneurs in Palo Alto, California said every laptop that we all own today has a thing they call an accelerometer. So if your kids are running through the kitchen and they trip over the cord on your computer and it's on your laptop, it's on its way to the floor, your computer knows it's falling. So that accelerometer actually can be used for other purposes. They said, what if we actually wrote some software that could sense the same vibration that these big dedicated systems sense? So all over the world now you have something called Quake Catcher. It's free, ubiquitous software that you fire up in your laptop before you go to bed, and we now have a global, ubiquitous, free earthquake, early earthquake warning system using data that reusing the sensors that are already built into the devices.
So big data isn't all bad. onerous, it's also good. We see that, and that's really interesting, Rick Smolan. Thank you so much.
And the author of The Human Face of Big Data. Good to have you with us, and we'll take a quick break.
There's a free app that's out there.
Free app, Big Data, Face of Big Data. Rick Smolan, thank you. We'll be back.